Hello everyone and welcome back to Diablo 3. We're still fighting our way through the Silver Spire to hopefully get to the Crystal Arch where Diablo supposedly is and where he's trying to corrupt the heavens. Well, corrupt them more than he already has, because I don't think it looks like it's supposed to. All the flowing red stuff and such doesn't look very heavenly to me. Ooh, cool music. As I said before, occasionally I will talk about the music, and there is a chance that I will have to remove the music from the videos. It's not likely, but simply because it's not happened to Diablo videos before.
Your evil undoes you.
And I've talked about the problem, why it happens and such. It feels a little unfair, but I can't help it, so in case I ever talk about, well, this is cool music and you can't hear it, I had to remove it, because otherwise people who haven't made my videos would make money from my videos.
Angels striding through these halls in all their majesty. We thought ourselves the masters of all creation. Our arrogance was our downfall.
It seems this area is almost done, and keep in mind what I said earlier about bosses seemingly kind of coming from nowhere. Now I know that the bosses in Act 4, a lot of them have their background in earlier Diablo games, but in this game, for someone who hasn't played the earlier games, there's no building up to them. Suddenly it's like, okay, fight through this area, oh boss! Fight through this area, oh boss! And especially in the case of the first one, something with E... something with an I don't know. The first one anyway. That was just like, okay, Act 4, hey, boss fight!
Wait, there is something different here.
Your old lieutenant.
Who again might have occurred in some of the earlier games. As I said, I don't know.
It seems we've both fallen from grace, Tyrael. Come, embrace your former lieutenant.
I think we've heard one bit of lore spoken about him, but why he's suddenly an enemy? Well, I don't know, he just is, apparently. And that's the annoying bit about this fight. You see, I'm still frozen. I can't do anything for, like, ages. And he doesn't only have, like, the frozen thing on the ground, he also freezes you with a certain shout. And that's unavoidable. Like, you can obviously move away from the... You can run away.
The angel Iswal was once Tyrael's lieutenant, but he was captured by the enemy after an ill-advised assault upon the Hellforge. Iswal surrendered to demonic corruption and revealed the secrets of the Soul Stones to the Prime Eagles. Tyrael claimed that Iswal was slain years ago, but his replacement has never emerged from the Crystal Arch.
And this is another one of the bosses. Well, we obviously now know who's going to be the final boss, so no spoilers in the fact that that's going to be Diablo.
So I forsook my home to see it again like this. Any joy I might have had is replaced with sorrow. Upwards, we must make it to the summit.
But yeah, this boss fight as well, it just, I don't know. Look, we made another boss.
It is not far now.
The Anger's Council is no better than the primevals themselves. We are just pawns in their cruel games, and now you help the worst of them all.
What is this deception?
The aspect of hatred. And you can easily avoid at least most of the... like, you don't get all of these 7 aspects in each playthrough, I believe. Because it's random if they are... where they are, basically. So as I said, I don't know, it seems like Act 4 is the least thought out of all the... all the acts in this game. But I don't want to complain too much. Like, I don't want to leave the impression that I don't like this game or something. This is still a really cool place, and like the level design and the enemies are well made, so don't think that I consider these problems to be so massive. Mostly because the storyline really isn't very important in an action role-playing game. It's like
I am healed.
a good story is a nice bonus if it happens to be there, but if it's not, it really doesn't matter much. It's nice to have one, but if the story is terrible, then that doesn't matter. Okay, I want to deal with the Mallet Lord first, because he has such a high damage output. And due to my bouncing fire bombs, it doesn't really matter much anyway. Oh, no, 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 no! Just deal with someone else, please. Thank you.
Needs more time.
It's a shame the range of the bats is so low.
Look at the destruction Diablo has wrought. If we do not stop him, this is the future of all creation.
Which is why we're gonna stop him. I don't know why he worries all the time, like any evil thing that's faced us has died and we've always fought it and faced it and killed it, so... It's not like we have a history of running away. What's that? Oh, my armor is reduced. Curse of Rust. I don't know what does that, by the way, but some enemy does.
The enslaved nightmares stand as testament that there will never be peace between men and demons. Sorcerers who attempt to master the dark arts and summon demons with their black spells are all damned to become skeletal nightmares, bound to the very power they tried to bend to their will.
Okay, I'm being a little quiet, I guess, during the fights. Oh, and I'm lagging a little. Just because they can be more problematic here than before. Just obviously, this is towards the end of the game. This is where it becomes most difficult. At least in most games, it tends to be the case that the end is more difficult than the beginning, and at least in a reasonably designed game, to my mind, it should be that it starts off fairly easily and then gets harder and harder as it progresses. I'm guessing the place where that would be most difficult is in role-playing games, and the reasons why also are true for action role-playing games like this, simply because in a role-playing game you expect character development, so you can either level up. You can level up through experience or through getting your better equipment and such. Your character just improves over time, and so you have to sort of account for that and make the bosses harder. But then if you don't make them harder enough, then it'll be overcompensated by getting better equipment. So while the boss would be harder with your initial character at level 1 with the, I don't know, rusted iron sword and I don't know, broken leather helmet, something like that. Obviously you might face him at a later stage with the shining sword of golden destruction +5, and then he becomes slightly easier. And that can be a little problematic, especially in a game where the loot is randomized, because you don't know everyone's gonna have the golden sword of destruction.
Diablo has spared nothing in his assault.
Okay, let's just go this way first. And so that it becomes slightly problematic that maybe at times you have to make or you end up making bosses too easy, because you want it to be reasonable that everyone can somehow manage to kill the boss.
I'm carrying too much.
And that can kind of make it so that earlier bosses can actually be more difficult. Like the only place I've ever seen that was in role-playing games. In an action game like Darksiders, for example, you know that there's not much character development in terms of getting better equipment, getting better armor and such. You unlock new combos and such, but nothing really major. Okay, salvaging. Yeah. On the other hand, for example, if you look at Dark Souls, which is it's known for being a very difficult game, somewhat justified, somewhat not, but the point is, one of the bosses where people agree is one of the hardest ones is the Capra Demon. Just because of the randomness and the luck involved in fighting him. And because there's no space, he's really strong, he does quite devastating attacks. He's just difficult, and he's like the third, maybe the fourth boss you face in the game, so you fight that guy really early on, assuming you go by the standard route. Of course, you can completely avoid fighting him. But yeah, the point is, you're meant to fight him early on, and he's quite difficult. And then in a later stage there's 2 more bosses, which, or rather one boss fight with 2 bosses in it, which is considered really mean, which is the Ornstein and Smough boss battle. And a lot of people agree, and I am of that opinion as well, that once you're past Ornstein and Smough, the rest of the game just kind of levels, becomes easier. Because that's the point after that fight, well, technically before that fight, but at that point in the game you've unlocked everything. So you can now go to all areas, you can find all the items that are in the game, you can upgrade them all fully, which beforehand certain areas of the game would be locked off, so you couldn't go there.
Your spirits are free from this corruption, warriors of the heavens.
But at that point it just becomes rather complete, in the sense that you now have access to all the upgrade paths. You can now get the best upgrade items, you can now get the, I don't know, all of the armor in the game. It's kind of hard to say the best because it doesn't quite scale linearly, so there's armor which protects better, but it's also heavier, so that has to be taken into account. Unlike in, say, in this game here, you can armor just has an armor value and obviously attributes, but you can often say that a piece of armor is strictly better. In Dark Souls, there are certainly completely valid characters which run through the entire game wearing their starting armor, just because it has certain very good attributes considering its weight. As I said, that's not uncommon at all in that game. Okay, firstly I want the incinerator gone.
There, a worthy foe.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Time for some plague bats. That was overkill. And I do not want that. Whew. I can reassure you though, we're actually almost done with this game, so it's not much left. And I have a ton of fetishes.
My castle.
Ilorius was alarmed when he realized that the Nephilim had the potential to surpass both angels and demons in power. He wished to limit their abilities, but Lilith demanded that they become her army. Their escalating conflict led to Sanctuary's discovery by the Demon Lords and the Angiris Council.
Yeah, there's a quite good series of books. I think they're mostly German. Well, they were originally in German. I'm not so certain if they were, I don't know, famous enough to be translated. They kind of deal with a lot of similar lore in a way. The whole story about the first angel who fell in love, and I don't know, largely based on the Paradise Lost story about that one angel who fell in love with a woman who was technically possessed by demons, but it made him question the rule of heaven, and so the whole big rebellion where Lucifer, the fallen angel, fights against heaven and loses and is banished to hell and such. It's a really cool book. It's called The Kaidos, and it has a few sequels called Lilith and Lumen. But I'm not certain if they've been translated into English, and if they have been, I'm not certain those would be the names. So I might try to find that out if I remember. And if you want me to, and I forget, you can ask me to. But if you are German, those are quite worth reading if you like that sort of story.
My curse upon you.
The writing style is a little slow, so it's not quite as action-packed, but it's still I find them really cool books. Okay, let's go to the Pinnacle of Heaven. And there's really not much left.
Nephilim, I see you did not heed my warning. Or perhaps you think yourself strong enough to face me.
I do not wish to fight you, but if I must, I will.
Imperius, stop this madness. Diablo is the enemy here, not the Nephilim.
Tyrael, I will deal with you soon enough. I will... What is this? No! Diablo has reached the arch!
No. Diablo has begun extinguishing the Crystal Arch. That's why the angels have fallen. If its light should go out forever, we must defeat Diablo before that happens.
Then it is up to us. Without your wings, You can still fight.
Diablo's vile corruption bars our path. Stand back. Eldruin's light shall clear the way.
Woohoo!
The gate has been opened, Nephilim. This last trial is yours alone.
I could not have done any of this without you, Tyrion.
It was an honor, but this is the moment you were made for. This is the hour of mankind's victory.
Oh. Fine, some talking. I'll do the Diablo boss fight next episode anyway. Actually, I'll make a cut now, and I'll do the talking at the beginning of next episode, so I'll see you then. Bye bye.